morning I had 20 times 14 plus 64.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I think that was it. 304?
I don't know what that, let me get my calculator. Thank you for joining us for Marketing Beat. My name is Beverley Theresa. My glasses are foggy. I'm a social media consultant in Edmonton. I help businesses with their social media marketing strategy and training. And
hi guys, I'm the owner of Ameet Khabra Marketing, and that's a online marketing agency that specializes in pay-per-click advertising. And today we're talking about short-term strategies to lowering your CPA. I feel like in the video on YouTube, you should do like a whole crowd behind me screaming. Okay, fine.
No.
So originally what I wanted to do was long-term and short-term strategies, but when I was putting my stuff together last night, I realized that the topic might be too dense. So we're gonna do short-term this week, long-term 2 weeks from now, and then automation, which I'm really excited about, 3 weeks from now. Yeah, even if we finish before time, I'm just not gonna bother to keep on going. I think we're just
Cool.
topic. So anywho, so if you are in a bind for time and you really want to work on lowering your CPA, there's a few things that you can actually do. When I say a few things, I mean like 7. So number 1, check your settings, obviously. A big one, but one that we always tend to forget. And that's because if you've recently like launched a new campaign or if you're looking to improve. Sorry, I feel like I can hear the lawnmower in the audio for some reason. Okay, so it's just me tripping up? Okay. Anyway, sorry. So if you recently launched a campaign or you recently inherited a campaign, which happens to me quite a bit, there's a few things that you kind of can do to kind of look under the hood, I guess, of a campaign and see what's in place and what isn't, and then make a few adjustments to the campaign, but the goals itself. So the number 1 thing that I always go and look for when I inherit a new campaign is the network. So should you turn off search partners or shouldn't you turn off search partners? Right? That's a big, massive debate within the community all the time, and it really actually just depends. So go through. Go into your, not your analytics, go into your AdWords campaign, segment by, I think it's by platform. Oh, geez, I should know this, but I don't. I just know where to find everything. Segment. Huh?
Yeah, it's just because you do it every day.
So then you don't really remember exactly what it is.
It's just because you do it every day.
You're segmenting, I think it's by network or something along those lines. And basically what it'll do, it'll separate search network by search network with search partners. And just take a look, see if it actually is costing you money or if it's not. If say you're spending $500 and you're not getting a lead within search partners, your CPA has drastically gone up for no apparent reason really at this point. So it's a really quick, easy win to just turn it off, save yourself that $500, reallocate it into the search network where you're actually getting a return, and your CPA starts to decline. It's good fun. Number 2 is locations. So for this one, are you trying to reach a national audience, a global audience, a local audience? And once you figure out that, and I mean like most businesses already know which way they're going. I mean a local company's not going to try to go national or global. Just ensure that 1, you've chosen the right locations, but you've also excluded the right locations. So if there's if you're a service business in Edmonton and you don't service Sherwood Park, make sure that you've excluded Sherwood Park from that. Because even though Edmonton has been selected, sometimes it'll go out into surrounding areas to a certain degree, and then your ads will be caught by those people. So then you've just wasted a significant amount of money just targeting the wrong clientele really at this point. So exclude those locations and then go in to your locations report and actually take a look at where your money is going. By if you're running a global campaign, maybe do it by country. National, you could do it by state or province. Local, you can get pretty narrow with the city side of things if that's how you kind of set it up. It really depends on how much data there really is. So take a look, and if Edmonton seems to be spending more money but getting you more results than maybe NISQ is, it might be time to turn off NISQ and just say we aren't advertising there anymore, and saving yourself that money, and then obviously reallocating it back into Edmonton and making more off of that. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah. Neat. Cool. So number 3 is the delivery. Another thing that I think a lot of marketers tend to miss is whether it's standard or if it's accelerated. And the difference with 2 is pretty staggering to a certain degree. So like with standard, if you've chosen it, it evenly places your campaign to whatever allocated budget that you've got throughout the day. So if you said you're going to spend $100 a day, let's say $240 a day, Google essentially will allocate $10 an hour in a sense, because it's rotating evenly right through. Whereas if you're on, you've decided that you want to go with the accelerated route, basically what they're going to do is they're going to take the $240 and spend it as quickly as possible in that day, right? They don't care whether more users show up at 6 p.m. than 6 a.m. They're just looking to spend that cash. And what happens in this is that sometimes an accelerated budget makes sense, right? Sometimes you can't spend that budget, so you just accelerate it, and then it kind of, you're putting yourself in a more aggressive position earlier in the day, which does work for some brands. But what you really should be doing is going back into your ad schedule, and again, just sifting through it and seeing what days are taking too much money and not returning anything, what hours are taking too much money and not returning anything. If you're just starting out, I would suggest probably doing it by day, and then also doing it by hour instead of doing a combined version, which is what I tend to do. So I'll have like my little brackets of time for every single day, and I literally sift through all of it. So it's a good 100, maybe 200 rows of random data that you have to go through. But if you're new to AdWords and you don't really know how to do it, I would rather just go with either like by day or by a specific time. So that way, when you're doing your adjustments, say you notice more clicks and stuff, or more conversions happen between 12 and 4. So now every day, 12 and 4, you've increased your bid by 10%. So now that you're actually showing up a little bit more and you're more prominent, and yeah, you might be spending more money in that time frame, but your CPA still goes lower if you start to decrease the amount of money that you're spending in times that you're not making money, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay.
It does. We have a question. Step Digital says, hi, what CPA optimizations you'd suggest when it comes to first-party audiences?
Depends on whether you're a service or a product, really, at this point. Because you can go the automated route with it, but then again, that depends on which one, what service, or if you're a product or if you're a service.
So Step, just let us, I'm guessing that it says digital, that they're probably asking for themselves.
Okay, well, whenever we hear back.
They're not writing back.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I have one question for myself.
Not anymore.
Does AdWords
they have to get grandfathered in a lot of
like
back in the day accounts, and I think they might have wiped that out with the new UI. But with the old one, I remember there was a couple accounts where they could actually do, it was grandfathered. They just never like updated the UI in a sense or whatever. And they were able to do a lifetime budget. But now with AdWords, now you can't. It has to be a daily budget. Of course.
Okay.
So number 4 is by device. So essentially, we're looking at traffic that's going to tablet, we're looking at traffic that's going to desktop, we're looking at traffic that goes to mobile, and now we're even looking at traffic that goes to TV, right? So TV isn't as prominent right now, but I mean, it will be. We all have smart TVs, and we're all sitting on YouTube, and we're all sitting looking through the internet on it. Like sometimes I have friends who actually literally use search screens as a desktop in a sense. And I think eventually at one point the technology is just going to be able to catch up where the TV will turn into the computer. And we'll just, I don't know, we'll see what happens. It's kind of interesting times right now. But anyway, so exciting. So the thing that you need to look at is where your traffic is coming from per device. So again, you're going to the device report, you're looking through it. We're going to focus on the main 3, not the TV part, but you might see TV in your reporting because it's been, I think it's rolled out across all campaigns now, but you know, whatever. So essentially what you're able to do is, again, bid adjustments. So take a look at, if you're looking at a monthly view or a quarterly view, take a look at it, see where all the traffic was going, see how many conversions came from there, and make adjustments accordingly. But it's also a great way to tell if there's an issue with your site. So if you're seeing a lot of mobile traffic, but not a lot of conversions, you might want to take a look at how your mobile site is actually performing. Is it rendering fine on phones? Is it, and if it is rendering fine on your phone, is it rendering fine on other platforms? So what you can do is go into Google Analytics and take a look at it by device and see if there's more drop-off from an iPhone maybe than from an Android. And if there is, then you've basically identified an issue that's happening with your phone. And that'll actually help not only increase conversions, but again, lower CPA, which is essentially all we're talking about today. Yeah, so then from there, you can make your adjustments. If you notice that desktop is probably the way to go for you, increase that bid, lower your mobile traffic until you fix your site if there's an issue with your site. But yeah, so you really just need to understand how people are interacting with your website really at the end of the day. If people are interacting with desktop, then just make sure the desktop experience is the best experience that you can get. And then if they're not interacting mobilely, there's probably an issue with your mobile site, really, in reality, because everybody's on their phone. Everyone's on their phones these days. Number 5. Sorry, I'm like locked in my head. I've already kind of actually touched on this. It's ad scheduling, really. So we're looking at it. I think I might have tied this into the delivery, but essentially they're 2 separate things. So looking at delivery, standard or accelerated, and then making sure that you've chosen the right one. If you want to be known or you want presence across the day, then standard is the way to go. If you just want presence in the just at the start of the day or whatever, then accelerated is the way to go. But the difference between the 2 is that if you've chosen standard when you really should have chosen accelerated, you're not going to get conversions later in the evening or later in the day. So the problem is that you're actually spending more money when you should have been spending all your cash at the start of the day, right? Where ad scheduling is a bit different, and I've already touched on it, so I feel like I'm repeating myself, but that's okay, is you're going into your ad scheduling report and you're looking at whether Mondays are better for you at 12 to 4, if Tuesdays are better for you at 6 to 9 or something along those lines, and adjusting your bids that way. So a lot of the times, like a couple of our clients are obviously just office or just work out of an office. So their hours are 9 to 5. If nobody else is going to be manning their chat room, if email isn't necessarily a goal that we're going for, we're actually looking for maybe phone calls. I'm not going to send ads or not send ads. I'm not going to have ads active from 5:01 p.m. to 8:59 a.m. Because really at the end of the day, that's wasting cash. It makes my CPA higher. Really, in reality, that's not what I want. That's a metric that we're working to bring down. So why even bother having ads during the wrong time and I'm putting all my efforts between those times of 9 and 5. And then if I discover that maybe Mondays are more better, then I'm going to put more money towards Monday and maybe decrease Tuesday when nobody else is calling. So you have to really look at the business in itself, make sure that you're actually firing your ads the times that they should be firing at, not just a general blanketed, let's do 12 to 12 every single day, because that is only going to cause you more pain at the end when you're trying to lower your CPA, especially if it's for a client or even in-house. Or even for yourself, actually. Why would you want to be wasting money for no reason? Like that literally just, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they must be, hey? If they want a $100 CPA when they really could probably make do with 75. Just dumping money. Too much cash. And then number 7, or number 6, sorry, and my last one is ad rotation. You can choose how, like you can basically choose the decision on how your ads will be shown, in a sense. So you can choose between like optimize and rotate evenly, rotate evenly is rotate indefinitely. And I think there's another one, I can't really think of it. Obviously, Google favors you doing the optimized route, where they select the ad that works best, or they feel that works best. But if you've launched a new campaign or you've written new ads, it doesn't actually make any sense to rotate evenly because there's no data to back it up. So when you're starting a new campaign, I suggest always going with rotate indefinitely until you've got enough information that's statistically significant that rotating by optimizing works for you. Because really at the end of the day, Google can't do their job unless they have information. It's a great platform, and I've used it to increase ROAS, so return on ad spend, from 19% to 24%, which a lot of people didn't think would actually happen because it was already quite high. But if you use it correctly and you give it enough data, it can do amazing things. But the problem is that we always trust it without giving it data. So then what happens is they don't know what to do, and we get shitty results. So rotate indefinitely until you feel like there's enough information to feed Google, and then go into rotate optimize if you really, really want to. I'm a manual friend, so I will always probably rotate indefinitely until I basically found the winner that actually works. So by A/B testing, essentially. But that's just me. Rotate optimize is just basically going to start feeding all your random ads, and there are going to be ads that sometimes don't work. And Google's going to sit there and be like, yeah, we think it will. And then all of a sudden you've wasted a ton of money that's going to do shit all for you. Oh my God, I love it.
This is why I don't like pay-per-click advertising, or like.
I love the numbers. They make me so happy. I do a math thing every single morning on my phone.
I can't even, like, someone asked me the other day what 8 times 8 was, and I was like,
the longer questions take me a little bit, but I'm pretty impressed with how fast it takes, or how fast I'm doing them, especially when I've just woken up. So I think this morning I had 20 times 14 plus 64.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I think that was it. 304?
I don't know what that, let me get my calculator. That's why it's like, why do you teach math in school if we have calculators?
Oh my God.